My husband finally admitted he's in love with my sister after years of suspicion. Yesterday, in a drunken state, he confessed to me, and now I don't know if I should take it seriously or chalk it up to the alcohol. We had dinner with my sister and her husband, and we all drank a lot. After they left, my husband and I had sex. Neither of us were tired, so we kept drinking a bit more wine, with music playing in the background. Everything felt perfect. He was smiling and in a great mood, like he always is when he's drunk. We started talking about my sister and her husband, and out of nowhere he said, "I'm so in love with her name." I was stunned and asked, "What?" He repeated, "I'm so desperately in love with her name. What I would do to taste her lips. She's brilliant." He had this dreamy look on his face, still smiling like he was in another world. I asked, "How drunk are you?" He laughed and said, "Probably plenty." I was drunk too, but those words hit me hard. I just sat there in silence while he seemed lost in his own thoughts, a smile plastered on his face. It was like he was a million miles away. Eventually, I went to bed. This morning, when the memories came flooding back, it hit me even harder now that I'm sober. I'm horrified, and my heart feels shattered. He hasn't brought it up and is acting completely normal, though he seems hungover. I don't know what to do. He has always had a good relationship with my sister, built on mutual respect. Should I just ignore his drunken comments? Was it just the alcohol talking? I don't even know if he remembers what he said. Should I wait for him to bring it up? And then there's the sex we had afterward. It was different. Even though I loved it and thought it was one of the best we've ever had, something about him felt changed. He was more passionate, tender, and loving than usual, repeatedly saying, "I love you, you're brilliant." But now, I wonder if those words were meant for me or if he was thinking about her. My sister has always been modest and tomboyish, but she recently lost 25 kilograms and has been working out for a year. Last night, she wore this form-fitting red dress with red lipstick, and she looked stunning. We all complimented her, and she was clearly happy about it. I'm not sure why I'm even including this detail, but I feel like it might be relevant. I definitely plan to bring this up once he's no longer hungover and thinking clearly. I'm torn between the old saying, "A drunk mind speaks sober thoughts," and the belief that alcohol clouds judgment. I do think alcohol impairs decision-making, but at the same time, I can't help but wonder, could alcohol alone really make someone confess to being in love with their wife's sister? Do you think he'll be able to move past this even if he denies those feelings? Because I think he will deny it. If it were me, I don't think I'd ever feel comfortable with my husband and my sister in the same room again, which isn't sustainable for a marriage. To be honest, I think he was probably expressing his lust for your sister in the moment. When people are drunk or in an altered state, feelings like love and lust can get mixed up. Many people tend to confuse lust with love when their inhibitions are lowered. Still, you need to have a serious heart-to-heart conversation with him. No one can answer for him, and even with that conversation, it may be very hard for you to move forward in the relationship. From personal experience, even if this is brushed off as just lust, you may still carry this moment with you like a shadow. If both of you are willing to try to make this work, I'd strongly recommend couples counseling and individual therapy to help you move forward in a healthy way. I wish you nothing but the best, and I'm so sorry you're going through this. My ex once told me, "I love you," but used my twin sister's name instead of mine. He quickly said, "Oh, sorry, I mixed up the names." But I knew the truth. He was in love with my sister and only dated me to get close to her. This is definitely something you need to bluntly discuss with him. And honestly, wasn't dating you a foolish move if he really wanted your sister? No sister would accept her sibling's ex. That's what I thought too, until she dated him after me. We were raised in a traumatic household and didn't have the best relationship, often being compared and pitted against each other by our parents. But I agree, 90% of the time, that's the worst way to go about it. A much better approach would have been to become friends with their sibling instead of jumping into a relationship. But I guess he wasn't thinking clearly. It's almost laughable, but But still, it's so painful to think about. You absolutely need to have that conversation today. He's acting like nothing happened, and I wonder if he doesn't even remember saying it. I agree with the saying, drunk words are sober thoughts. Have you ever noticed any behavior toward her that made you pause? You should ask him point blank, and make sure you're facing each other when you do. His reaction will tell you a lot. My husband has always liked my sister. He likes my whole family and is close friends with my brothers. But my sister is the one he likes the most. We're very close with her and her husband, and we do most things together that aren't just the two of us. My sister has always been my best friend, so his fondness for her seemed normal. If he had only said, "I love her," it could be chalked up to a drunken comment. Maybe just him liking her as a person, or at worst, an innocent crush. But he went on to make sure there were no doubts about his feelings. What he said wasn't silly or thoughtless. It was a deeply felt and articulate confession that came out because his guard was down. People say dumb things when they're drunk, but they don't typically express love with that much emotion unless there's some truth behind it. I would definitely bring it up abruptly and watch his reaction. That should tell you everything you need to know. Update. Hi, the rules here say to wait 3 days to update, which is why I didn't post on Sunday after talking to my husband. Also, I've been feeling very conflicted. When I finally talked to him, he said he didn't remember much from that night, especially after my sister and her husband left and we kept drinking. I told him what he said, and while he didn't seem shocked or surprised, he just said he didn't remember saying it. I asked if he had those feelings before we started drinking, and he said that he's always loved my sister because she's kind and warm. Then he added that she looked beautiful that night and that his drunken self probably thought she was hot. He tried to brush it off, saying it's normal for people to be curious about the opposite sex. He admitted he's always thought she was beautiful, just like the rest of my family. But her weight loss boosted her confidence, and she seemed happy, which made him happy for her. I asked if he would choose between us if he had to, and he looked shocked. He told me I'm his wife and the mother of his children, and that he loves me. When I pressed him further, asking what he would do if he just met both of us, me not being his wife, and my sister not being married, he got frustrated. He said this line of questioning was ridiculous, and that he hated hypothetical games because they make people upset over things that aren't real. After dinner, he reassured me, saying he loves me very much and is happy with me. He told me not to overthink what he said while he was too drunk to even know what he was saying or where he was. But I'm still not sure. I keep thinking about your situation, and I've read through all your comments. I hope you'll consider seeing a therapist on your own, too. If I were in your shoes, I'd be eaten up by thoughts about whether his desire to maintain access to my sister, however limited, played a part in his decision to stay with me. I don't know if I could ever reconcile the idea that he might be using my body as a stand-in for his passion for her. Those last two thoughts would play on a loop in my head forever. Even if I tried to get to a place where I could share intimacy with him again, my mind would never allow me to surrender to the moment or feel any real connection. I'd constantly be comparing, trapped in my own head, overanalyzing every action and reaction. I'd be disengaged, self-conscious, and always feeling like I'm not enough. My ADHD would make it impossible for me to believe it wasn't all just a performance. I'm very close to my sister, and we live within 2 minutes of each other. Trust me, I've thought about that too. How he might have settled for the next best thing by staying family and friends with her. Now I'm obsessing over every interaction, every time he mentions her. It's never negative. He's always happy when he talks about her or to her. Is he that way with me? I don't even know anymore. Am I imagining things, or is this real? There's no coming back from this. It's always going to be in the back of your mind. You need to grow a spine and trust your gut. He admitted to having feelings for her, and now it's out there. He told me he's had feelings for my sister for years, but insisted that he loves me and our life together. We're starting counseling, and he's agreed that from now on, he won't be around when I hang out with my sister. He said he's in love with her, but that the feelings have come and gone over the years. He's never wanted to act